all in my bag. You been all in my business. You be all in your feelings. I been all in them trenches. I been all in my bag.
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of our wrestling series, Keeping It Real. This is Series 3, episode number 5. And we're live on YouTube as always. But if you prefer your podcast in audio form, you can get this series and all the other series we do at the Sports Social Podcast Network. So do check them out. Big shout out to them as always. But it's going to be a very interesting show tonight. We're going to talk some AEW Double or Nothing, some news and some MJF stuff. There's lots to discuss. And joining me as ever, he is the GOAT of wrestling news. He is post-wrestling journalist, reporter, interviewer, Mr. Andrew Thompson. How are you, my friend?
It's good to be back on the podcast, my man. It was a very eventful show last night at Double or Nothing. I enjoyed my time watching that show. It was a fun show, man. A good time. Good time watching the rap.
It was fun. It was a good show. I think to me it wasn't like one of the best ones they've done.
Oh no!
However, at no point was I like wanting this shit to end.
Yeah.
So like that's always a good barometer compared to some other stuff that that we see and whatnot. I think the only match where I was genuinely like, yeah, this needs to finish was the Sammy Guevara and all them guys, which is a shame because there were some talented guys in that match, but I don't know. It's not doing it for me at all, that gimmick with Sammy and Tanara. I think it might be the feud, so maybe if they get them away from each other, that'll kind of free up some stuff. Do you think we see Adam Cole and Britt Baker versus Sammy and Tanara Conti?
You know, that's actually a good call, because have you been noticing like what they've been doing with Britt lately?
They've been separating her slowly from the other.
Yeah, you see it, right? I was hoping I wasn't the only one. Like she's starting to like, and not like in a negative way. She's like, just like I can do it by myself type stuff, and like you can slowly start to see like they trying to move her to like the babyface side without like having that disconnect between Rebel and Jamie Hayter. It's like she's slowly like moving herself away from that, and then having her win the Owen. Like for real, you would think the Owen would be like a babyface type thing. Like you would think you would have two, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it really don't fucking matter, because I mean, it's overall about Owen and Martha's speech and all that stuff. But I'm just talking about like from a traditional standpoint, like you would think like a tournament like that would be like giving the two babyface talents. But I mean, I ain't had no problem with neither of them winning. I mean, I did think Ruby should have won it, but I mean, I guess it made sense to have Adam and Britt have that. But like honestly, I can see them doing something with Sammy and Ty Conti. I think we all know for sure who gonna be the baby faces in that situation.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy seeing because when Tainara, when she first started in AEW, she was like really like everybody was like cheering her and stuff. Like she was just getting cheered with at Revolution.
I think
a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think getting with the problem. Look, I don't like to talk about like their personal lives and stuff, but obviously Sammy proposed to his ex-partner in an AEW ring, put it on his YouTube, and I think they put it on the AEW social medias. And then very quickly after that, obviously he was with Tainara Conti, and I think that kind of turned a lot of people off. And stuff happens. That's just the way it is. But I think that's probably one of the reasons why people turned on her. So there's two reasons why I saw a lot of people moaning on social media about Ruby and Soho not winning. And there's two reasons why I kind of think it was the best way to go. One is like you mentioned, having Adam Cole and Britt Baker both be the winners of the tournament makes sense. And also, if they're going to go, which I think they will, with Sammy and Tainara kind of going after that kind of makes sense. Obviously, they've just had this thing with the TNT titles, so it means that's almost like a natural kind of thing for them to go after someone else's cup or title or whatever. And then also, I think there's a great long-term story with Ruby Soho now that she can't get the job done against Britt Baker. She's lost to her twice in 2 big matches. Like I think one was for the title and one was in the Owen Hart Cup final. So it's almost like the Adam Page booking that they did previously, where if they do it right and build it back up to that Britt third match, when she finally does get that win, it's going to be a bigger deal. The problem they've got is Ruby Soho's probably lost a bit too much already. So whereas Adam Page was losing the big ones, but he was winning everything else, so that you kind of had that culmination naturally in the story. But I do think there's a story there to be told of further down the line, maybe at the next pay-per-view, maybe the one after, of Ruby Soho beating Britt Baker finally. I think that's a good long-term story. And look, Britt Baker is still their biggest female star at the moment. So it makes sense that if she's not going to be involved in either title picture, for her to be the winner of the tournament, I think. But I don't know. I'm interested in what you think of that.
But I mean, with Ruby, I mean, I don't necessarily say I agree with like the losing part, because I mean, she like won like 4 straight matches to get to the finals. So like she wasn't like she wasn't like losing. And even before that, I don't think she really. I mean, she had picked up like a rack of wins on Dark, and I mean, that just depends on if somebody is watching that or not. And I mean, I know it's a lot of people that was like really sort of clued out from even the Julia Hart stuff, because they weren't like sort of following on Dark, and she was doing that thing on Dark like this whole time, like blending the curve. So like that stuff blends into the on-screen product. But with Ruby, I think it's just a case of like them trying to tell this like big, get sympathy story for her. And I don't know when they're gonna get back into it. I think they should just wait a little bit, not even till the next pay-per-view, but maybe wait until Britt is in her next heel cycle, because I do feel like we just talked about, they feel like they about to trend towards a bayface turn for Britt, and like sort of gravitate towards that in a slow manner. So I mean, I definitely think Ruby's probably gonna get her get back one of these days, but I think it's gonna probably take place when Britt is like in her next cycle of turn a heel. Like it's like something similar. I don't like giving no credit Chris Jericho, but like he's very aware of when to turn and when to go back, maybe. Like I remember he had said in an interview recently, he was like when he heard the crowd like start to choose Eddie Kingston over him, and he was like, he started like he like at first he didn't like it, but then he was like, okay, I gotta realize that people are getting tired. He was like reading social media and stuff like that, and he was like seeing how people was like talking about him and reacting to him, and he was like, okay, he went to Tony Khan and was like, bro, it's time to turn me heel again. Like that type of awareness, that's good. And I mean, I'm interested to see what they do with Britt. Like honestly, it was like I thought like a part of me, like for a quick second, not for too long, because I slowly realized like this was like far more bigger than like some storyline stuff. And I'm talking about like as far as like the Owen Hart presentation. Like I was like, oh, this is just Martha in her speech. But like a part of me, like before she even came out, like a part of me thought, like I was like, what if like fucking like another like pro wrestling couple show up or something like that and interrupt them, something along those lines. But like that quickly went away once I saw Tony walk out to the ring. I was like, oh, she about to get like a nice speech and stuff. And it was a great speech that she gave about the whole tournament and stuff like that. But but as far as Ruby goes, it's gonna be cool to see what they do with her going forward. Like I'm always a fan of like when people go for big losses, like sort of take them off TV for a little bit, because like sometimes they can it just give people time a little bit of time to forget, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So and even with Hangman, but like in his case, I know we're going to a different topic, but with Hangman, like it's kind of different, because I kind of want to see him turn heel now, like a little bit.
Well, do you know, with what you said about Jericho being so aware, and I know, like, personal feelings aside and whatever with Jericho, but like you are right, he's very aware of when to turn and when to not. And I hope that either Hangman or someone with in and around him or involved in his presentation also is quite clued in, because there is quite a few posts of people kind of criticizing his run and maybe getting a bit bored. And I think it
wasn't even bad though. It was just
I don't think it was bad.
He just didn't feel like the main guy. That's all.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it, mate, is the massive culmination of his story was him finally winning it. And then when you've done it,
Yeah.
you can't, there's only one way to go, really. And I think, look, he had some great matches, he had some good feuds, but ultimately it was the right time, I think, to take it off him. We touched on this a little bit last week when I said I think the time is right for him to realign with the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Because I think what you can do straight away is you can have a bit of friction between him and Adam Cole. You can have friction between the Bucks and
Fish and O'Reilly,
yeah. And like they've already, when Adam Cole first came in, they kind of hinted at a bit of friction between the two Adams, but didn't do anything with it. So, and even on Being Elite, in Adam Cole's first episode back, he went, "Oh, I'm going to go and find Adam, Hangman, and have a beer with him or whatever." And they all went, "Oh, no." But it was like they hit little things like that, but they never appeared on screen together, I don't think, other than once, I think it was. But my point being, I think the time is right. They've already set the table with, when the Bucks gave him the nod when he beat Omega. So I think that time is right to kind of especially with the New Japan show coming as well. It kind of even makes even more sense. I think there's a lot going on. You've got the Bullet Club, you've got Undisputed Elite, you've got Elite or Undisputed Era, and there's a lot going on there. And I think, particularly in the week before and the week after, or the couple of weeks before and the couple of weeks after that show, the Forbidden Door show, I think we will see what they're going to do with the kind of Bullet Club Elite and all this type of stuff, whether that's going to be a long, ongoing kind of loose partnership in it, I guess, but over a few companies, or if they're going to kind of turn on each other and there's going to be a feud, and the Undisputed Era, as they were, are going to feud with the Bucks and someone, whether it's Omega, whether it's Hangman. It's going to be fascinating to see. Is that what you would do with Hangman? Would you realign him with the Bucks, or would you? Because I think they're having a pretty good run at the moment. They're kind of tweeners almost, because they're not quite as heel as Cole and O'Reilly and Fish, but they are, but not. I don't know. They're always going to have their fans, I guess. But
yeah, because the Bucks are
the Bucks,
yeah. So they always going to be like in that middle. Like even when they're supposed to be heels, people will cheer them, bro, because they're the young Bucks. Like that's always going to be the thing. But with Hangman, I feel like the only way to go. I mean, you could keep trying to tell the like babyface story, but like I feel like it's gonna get dry at some point, and I feel like it's more length in him turning heel, or not even got to turn. Like he just show more aggression. Like he ain't got to be like full on heel. And I mean, but you can align him with the Bucks, and then that can sort of cause that friction, like you said, between him and Adam Cole, and the Bucks already had that tension between themselves and O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. I think that match will be a banger when it does happen. The Bucks versus Red Dragon. That's gonna be crazy. And yeah, I think that'd be cool to see Hangman, sort of just get more aggressive as far as his on-screen character goes. And I think that'd be like an interesting story to tell, and how they eventually circle back around to him wanting the AEW world title. Because I mean, I feel like that's what pro wrestling like is nucleus is like all about, like these different characters having these ups and downs and different trajectories, and going back and forth between babyface and heel, and seeing which works and what sticks and whatnot. Like that's what it's all about. So I mean, if it's time for Hangman to turn heel, I'm pretty sure the crowd gonna let him know. Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna let him know. And I mean, look, when you judging by that sort of, Hangman was getting cheered at Double or Nothing. It wasn't like he was getting booed out the building, but that crowd was definitely like pro CM Punk. You know what I'm saying? But they was rocking with Hangman too. It wasn't like Hangman was like the lone wolf out there. Like they was going crazy for him, but it was more so like you heard the fuck you Hangman Page chants, but like for Punk, it wasn't none of that. It was just CM Punk, like the whole night. You know what I'm saying? So I would be interested to see Hangman go heel, and then like sort of, and then that could add to the trios field. Like you got them Undisputed Elite. You got them Adam Cole and Red Dragon. You got House of Black, who I think should definitely get the tag straps first. I don't care what nobody got to say. Put them belts on House of Black, bro. And you got Penta. Penta, Pac, and Ray Phoenix, and then
CM Punk and FTR.
that would be nice. But like that, they got too much gold. Like, come on now, that's too much.
Yeah.
Like the trios, the ROH, the AAA, and the AEW World. So that's a little that's a little much, bro. But like another thing that I think is gonna happen, like this just sort of came to mind. What I think is gonna happen, I think we're gonna see Pac, Penta, and Ray Phoenix at Forbidden Door against Andrade, Roosh, and Naito, Los Ingobernables. We're gonna see that's gonna be our 3-way, 6-man tag, and we're gonna see Roosh and we're gonna see Naito and Andrade link up for the first time in a long time, and I think that's gonna be our awesome. 3-way match. Yeah, and I definitely think Penta and them is losing that match. Like, it's no fucking way. Like I would say House of Black, but I was like, I think that they're positioned in House of Black to be the first. And especially with Julia Hart on the side, like, and I'm thinking about what that's going to do for her career, because now she's going to be probably in a very prominent spot. Like, I'm interested to even see their entrance with her, like how they mix her into that entrance that they got, and that now she's going to be in a position where she's probably going to be competing for the women's title probably in the next 4 to 5 months at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like her being associated with them, that's only one. And then at that, you just added Athena to your roster. Now you got Julia Hart, who got interest in her. So you got two, essentially, I know Julia Hart's not new to the roster, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, under this new group.
Yeah, it's a new, completely new lease of life.
Exactly. So now she's sort of new in that aspect. So, like, now you just got two new additions to your women's division. You got AQA, who hasn't been on TV in a while. So, people still get used to her, and she's a great wrestler. So, like, it's AEW, they doing some solid stuff right now, man. But I am very intrigued at how they further tell this Julia Hart story, and like what's next for her as far as like storylines and stuff go. So yeah, but to your point with Hangman, like, I definitely think heel turn might be the way to go. Or not even the heel turn, just more aggression towards other people besides the Young Bucks.
Yeah, and I think even like when he first joined the Bullet Club, he was kind of like he was taking L's. Really, yeah, he was just taking heads. But he was taking a lot of losses, particularly in like the multi-man tag team matches.
He was that person.
but also in like Ring of Honor, he was portrayed as like the bigger guy, the stronger guy, who kind of had a bit more power to his arsenal. So I think there's a good feud there between him and Adam Cole and the Bucks and Red Dragon. I think on the subject of a new like lease of life for people, I think Andrade and Roosh together is a real chance for them to do something with Andrade. They kind of the House of Hardy or whatever, the Hardy office and then the Andrade office, it wasn't really doing it for me. It felt a bit thrown together. And like, for instance, if they could get Naito over for some sort of extended period, even, like just a few months or something, and do a proper I can never say it.
Los Ingobernables there upon. You just say LIJ. There you go.
Yeah, if they could do an LIJ in AEW with Roosh and Andrade and whoever else, like I feel like that's a real good chance to put Andrade in the top tier of their kind of acts, but they've got to do it right.
Just real quick, like I keep forgetting this. It's not the group is called Los Ingobernables. Like the De Japón part, that's just New Japan's. Like it's like different sections. But we just call it Los Ingobernables. There we go. That's what we were. I get confused on that sometimes too.
But there's like they did. I noticed when they hinted at it, didn't they, in that little clip with instead of shaking hands, they did the fist thing, and like I just think that's a good way to make Andrade seem like he's up there with the rest of the top tier acts, the main event guys, because he can do it in the ring, but they've just stumbled a little bit, only a little bit, I think, because I still found him quite entertaining. But yeah, I think there's certainly an opportunity there to give the fans something special, but also give him a lift further up the card and make him seem like a big deal. Rob in the chat asked, he said he's seen a few posts about Wardlow. Do you think he's a glorified Ryback?
Jeez.
No. Good God, no. Like Ryback was never able really. Like, I think he was better in ring than like Goldberg was back in the day. But ultimately, like Wardlow couldn't go. Wardlow's had some good matches. Like, he hasn't had to do a lot of selling, and obviously that will come. And he's still young, but I think there's such an upside to Wardlow as a wrestler, as a gimmick. If I was going to compare him to anyone, I wouldn't be comparing him to Ryback. I'd be comparing him more to Batista's kind of breakout year when he turned on Evolution and stuff like that. I think there's more similarities there. And even that, I think Wardlow's probably more athletic and better in the ring than both guys. I don't know, what do you think, mate? I know you're a big Ryback fan.
That's a rough comparison right there, calling him Ryback or saying.
I think he means more I think he means more like the gimmick and the build up and the squash matches than the person. But
I think they're more so just trying to save those matchups, because I think it's eventually like him. I think eventually he'll be TNT champion at some point. Like, I think he's gonna for that. As far as the AEW World Title, I don't really see that just yet, but I definitely see the TNT title at some point. But I think Wardlow is really good. Like he comes on, he looks very personable in his interviews and stuff like that. And he not like some like vanilla, like boring ass. Like he actually got a personality. So I mean, like I like Wardlow. I think Wardlow's doing some good stuff, and like I'm glad that he was able to get that moment, because like that was like a 2-year story, and that would have been kind of fucked up if like he if that didn't happen. So
yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Obviously, anyone who kind of follows the news pretty regularly would have known there's been like an ongoing thing behind the scenes between MJF and AEW. MJF basically wants more money. From what I can gather, AEW were happy to give him more money, but he would have to extend his contract. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't want to extend his contract. He wants to be able to, when his contract's up in 2024, he wants to be able to explore his options, which I understand. But then the other side of that is you're not going to get more money without it having some level of extension to your contract. It's just the way it works. There was some sort of blow up previously, I think, between Tony Khan and MJF. No one knows how serious it was, whether it was just a stern conversation. But over the weekend, at one point, it seemed as if that boy was not going to be on the show. Mm-hmm. Like late Saturday night, I was reading some of the stuff, and I was like, man, I don't know if he's going to turn up. Like, it was rough, but he did it. I saw a lot of people saying, like, he was punished by having the 10 power bombs and squashed, but I don't think so. I think that was happening anyway.
Yeah, I think that was
always the story to tell. Was do you know what I thought they might do, and they kind of didn't, and I get why. Is I thought they might start when his entrance would sort of just before his entrance, he would be on a plane and like basically trying to leave, and then Wardlow would get on and drag him out, and as if he was trying to escape and not face Wardlow. But I think that was always going to be the type. It was always going to be a basic squash match, because that's the story to tell, is that MJF has not wanted to fight him. He's been scared of him, and he's kind of controlled him and stuff. So I didn't think the situation behind the scenes affected the kind of match it was. I don't think, at least. Like, I'm obviously interested in what you think. Do you think we see MJF again? Because they obviously did an injury angle. Do you think he's done with that AEW, or do you think he'll go away for a bit, come back, finish out his contract?
I don't really know what to believe about the whole situation. Like, because at the same time, like, I don't doubt that it's like something legit, but also like a part of me is like, it's MJF.
Yeah, like, he works everything. He's always in character.
It's MJF, and like, honestly, bro, like I wouldn't put it past him to like throw some of that information out there. Like, I genuinely would not put it past him at all. Like, I feel like he's very strategic and very aware. and knows how to get buzz around himself. But also, it's a very believable thing to believe that he wants more money and without having to extend his deal and want the chess free agency. And even at that Ariel Helwani interview that he did, which was very interesting. And it was I think a follow up report that came from that they weren't pleased that wasn't approved by the PR department before he did that interview. So I mean, it's a lot of interesting factors in it. Like I really don't know like exactly what to believe, because I'm saying like I believe the reporting on it, but it's at the same time like it's just like, bro, it's MJF, dog. Like, it's like,
man is always in character.
Like I can't fully get myself to like believe it. I just can't, and that's in part due to him, and that's just the job that he's always, and like even at like I remember my first time like seeing like MJF like in full MJF mode was at StarCast back in 2019. I was like, this motherfucker does not turn it off. Like he is on all the time, like the character shit, like the disrespecting the fans and like all this type of stuff. Like he is on all the time. Like this ain't no like, oh, when the camera's not on, I'm the nice guy. Like he's like, as we all know at this point, like that's just what it is. So like it's difficult for me to like 100% believe the stuff. Like, bro, he's strategic, bro. So I mean, but I definitely,
he's a very clever man.
But I definitely can see a situation where like he's like, dog, I just need you to bump me up. You know what I'm saying? Just bump me up on some pay until I can test my waters. I mean, test the waters and see what's out here. Like as far as like him in WWE, I can see it, and I can definitely see him getting like a nice push there, and I think that would be solely due to maybe them feeling like, oh yeah, we got one of their guys now, another one of their guys, and if we push him and make him look like a big deal, then I can definitely see it being like one of those type of pushes. But like as far as like the essence of what he's been able to build over the last several years or so, I don't know if that's gonna be the same, but I think that's also gonna be a test to him. Like if he can go there and like be under their definition of like the bad guy and still be sort of popular in a way, then that's a credit to him. And if he don't, then that'll let you know that he needs that sort of freedom in order to thrive the way that he views himself. So either way, if he go to WWE, I think it's gonna be a test. Do I think he's gonna go? No, I think MJF is trying to hold out just to see like where things go with him and Tony Khan, because I definitely think at some point Tony will want to put the world title on MJF like at some point. But like I think like even when you're looking at it from both sides, bro, you gotta know, like from MJF's side, you understand it. Like is he he just wants more money and he feels like he's worth it, and he sort of paid that off. And from the business side of him, Tony Khan's side, you gotta look like, why did you just dump all this money in this dude, and then 2 years from now he roll out on you, and then what? You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
It's a unique spot for both sides, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. And it's gonna be as far as like if he comes back to TV or not, I'm gonna say he's gonna be away until I say he come back around All Out. I think he comes back at All Out. I can see that. I definitely can see him being on TV for a while. Like whether that's just a legit thing or that's a storyline thing, I definitely see him being out for a while, and then he'd come back like to ruin somebody's moment at All Out.
Yeah, I can see that too. Do you know? I think there's two things with MJF long term. I wonder whether, as his contract runs down in 2024, assuming he doesn't sign another one, because remember now we're halfway through 2022, so it's not that far, because his contract runs out on the 1st of January 2024. Yep. So technically it's only a year and a half away, so 18 months away or whatever. So like my thing is, I think that there's a story to be told, particularly if he re-signs with AEW for big money, which I think is the most likely scenario. But they can keep it quiet, so they can keep it so everyone thinks his contract runs out on the 1st of January 2024. Is you could do a mirror almost of Punk's story when when he left with the belt. You could do that. I think MJF is so good like you just said about staying in character and keeping kayfabe, if it literally is only him and Tony who know what his legitimate contract status is, I think there's a phenomenal story to be told at the end of next year. And I mean, if it happens that CM Punk is still champion or is champion,
that's a long ass time, bro.
But that's a long time for CM Punk to be champion as well.
Bro.
But I do think that story is worth telling if it's possible. Obviously, you can't tell that story if he's going to leave, is the problem. But you can certainly tell it if you're fairly sure he's going to stay. The other thing I wanted to ask you, do you think in the future MJF has got a monster babyface running him? I do. But no one else does.
No.
I think he's got I really do think that at some point he is capable of having a real monster babyface run. Just from just from the reactions that he gets. Because
that's not happening, bro. It's no way that's happening.
People hate him, but they love him, though, don't they? Like,
no, they don't.
People boo him because they love him. They like everything about him.
No, they don't. People boo MJF because they hate MJF.
He is irritating. But I think it's a chance. I think that, like, I'm not talking, years down the line. I think at some point he'll go and have a monster babyface run with tag team champions with The Miz. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
With The Miz. That's funny. Yeah. That's funny.
The Miz. What was your favorite match of the night?
Oh, that Anarchy in the arena match. That shit was
that shit was pretty insane, wasn't it? That was, I gotta say.
That was my favorite match of the night. My second was the triple threat tag title, and then my third was Rosa versus Deep, and then Kyle O'Reilly versus Darby.
Interesting. I like the House of Black match.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was good. But
I like the Rosa match as well. But
that Anarchy in the arena match, like I was not expecting to be like as like entertained as I was doing. Like that shit, and them having like Wild Thing playing like through half the shit, and then Chris Jericho cutting off the music, and then the crowd started booing the shit out of him. But that was great, bro. That was fun. And then Eddie Kingston tried to set both Danielson and Jericho on fire because his beef with Danielson. So I was laughing about that. I was like, he saw both of his enemies in one spot. He was like, oh yeah, it was like, is this over now? That was hilarious, bro. Yeah. That was a fun match.
It was real fun, and I think that visual of Eddie Kingston walking down the ring with the
gasoline,
the petrol guy, that was such a crazy visual, and that it was entertained. I was saying with you, I wasn't really expecting for it to be like I wasn't. I thought it would be good because of the people involved, but I wasn't expecting to be quite as entertained as I was. The thing is, right, is AEW's got such a big roster that they, like MJF, can go away now till all out. They can, play it up and whatever, and they won't really miss anything. Like, the show will be better with him on, of course. But, the FTR didn't have a match last night, for example. Which guys do you think will be Ring of Honor bound when Ring of Honor starts its TV deal in whatever form it is?
Brian Cage, for sure, because I mean he in that group. I can see Frank Kazarian.
Joe.
Nah, I think Joe staying on AEW TV. I don't think Tony. But I think he's gonna be both. He can be both, but I think he's gonna be featured on AEW Dynamite. Lee Johnson. I can see Bowens and Caster getting the ROH tag titles.
I love the Acclaimed. I want them to stay on AEW.
No, I mean not go away from AEW, but I can definitely see them get the ROH tag titles.
Colt Cabana.
For sure, Colt Cabana.
I haven't seen him for a while, have we? Since
it was reported.
He's filming a TV show, I think, isn't he?
No, it was reported by Meltzer that he in the Observer that he signed a new deal, and he's gonna be in that he was gonna be on the ROH side of things. Like I know a lot of people like to link like that with CM Punk in terms of like I don't know what's going on with their relationship.
He wasn't doing much anyway, though.
As I say, he went on the show anyway, but I mean you would have. I mean, bro, like people like expecting them to be cool or something. Like, dog, they was in a lawsuit with each other. Like, fuck, I'm not about to be cool with you. Like, what we got to talk about? Like, ain't nothing for us to talk about.
100%.
But like I can see Colt like going to the ROH side. Who else in that roster? Like I can see maybe him like signing John Morrison to that ROH side, Killer Cross, Scholar Bordeaux to that ROH side. Yeah, like I can see a couple of people. Maybe like of course Willow Nightingale to that ROH side, Trisha Dora to that ROH side. Maybe use that to get sort of, you know, Julia Hart some rest, maybe Akira Hogan, Red Velvet. Maybe Anna Jay go over to that ROH side for a little bit just to get her reps up. It's a lot of people that you can send over there, because I mean I think that's what it's going to be, essentially like a feeder system in a way, like just to build talent stuff, give him some reps and stuff like that. I'm kind of interested to see where that's going to go. Like I mean I wasn't expecting it like when he first announced it for that shit to take off like the next month, but like I am interested to see like where it's going to be, like if it's going to be on the TV station or like it's going to be on like a streaming service or like whatever it might be. I'm kind of interested to see where this ROH thing go, but there's a lot of different ways they could go. But I mean, I think it's gonna be like, I'm not expecting this to be like some competing brand. I think it's gonna be like a computer system, and it's gonna play into AEW storylines and whatnot.
It could be a good way to make guys hot and girls hot, which aren't on, like there's not enough room to get them on Rampage or Dynamite, but it could be a good way to build guys up ready to then come over and have a big push or a big feud. I think it could be used like that. They could also just use it as a separate brand. They've got such a big roster that they could use it as a completely separate brand, and also then just use the Dark and Elevation to give people reps and use it as a separate brand. Gaz says, he says a couple of things. First of all, he said, the thing I like about AEW is they save matches and feuds. Yeah, they've done that really well. And even like with the Undisputed Era and the Elite, they could have blown through that match straight immediately. Like they could have had Adam Cole come in and turn on the the Young Bucks the first night, because the story was there to do so. But they didn't, and they kind of have saved it, and they're going to build it up for the right time, which I think is the right, is the right idea. And there's a few feuds, like there's loads of matches for Wardlow which haven't been done, which can be done. Same with some of the other guys. And his other question was, what do you think about if the MJF situation cannot be rescued to a point where he was going to re-sign for AEW, like a swap deal for Sasha and Naomi for MJF going the other way? Who gets the best of that deal if that was to happen?
A swap deal? I don't think that's happening.
No, I don't think so either. I think
I don't have to think no shit. But wait, do he mean like just in terms of like MJF leaving and then going to sign with WWE, and then Sasha and Naomi leaving and then going to sign with AEW?
Yeah.
So if that's the thing, like something like natural just happening like that. But I don't ever see WWE and AEW be like, hey,
negotiating.
But a trade. but come on, that like Sasha and Naomi. Come on, that you adding two people that's bringing like entirely different fan bases to your product. You think all these Sasha stands ain't gonna go follow her to AEW? You tripping? They going right with her. They going right with her, and with her 5.7 million followers on Instagram and Twitter and all that, they going right with the same thing with Naomi, bro. Her fan base, I forgot what they call Naomi fan base. It's some funny shit, but
it's a different fan base, isn't it?
But they have like loyal like support. Yes. They have like people like fan pages that are like dedicated to these people, millions with like thousands of followers. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like that shit is crazy. Like it's not crazy in a bad way, but like you know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah.
They have like big time supporters, bro. Like people that like literally profile what they do. Like it's crazy, bro. But I mean, like if you talking about like which one is gonna make a difference, I think in the long term, bro, you letting the Sasha Banks and the Naomi free reign, do what they want in the AEW, and then you add on their star power. Like, dude, they've been on national TV in the biggest wrestling company in the world for like the past 9 years. And they're stars, bro. Like both of them. They could both go in the ring. Great looks. They can do whatever you ask them to do. And then now you're giving them the power to do what they want to do. That's different opposed to you getting MJF. And then MJF, he's going to have to fall in line. Like, people, like, I don't care what you say. Like, even like,
he can't do exactly the same, can he?
And you know what? Even with Cody, I think Cody's doing a great job. Like, his run, I'm like really enjoying Cody Rhodes' run. Like, I think he's doing a great. I think it's more that WWE is the place where he belongs. Like, he just fits in.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of their guys. Like, you could just, you know what I'm saying? Cody's a WWE guy. You could just tell. And that's not a bad thing. And specifically in his case, it's not a bad thing at all. He just fits. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the live events and being interacting with the kids and all that. Like, that's Cody, bro. But like, if you talking about MJF, he wanted to fall in line, bro. Like, he not gonna be able to go out here and be like talking about people's mothers and, you know what I'm saying, calling people fat asses and all this shit, like being mean to these kids and these mean greets. WWE ain't going for that shit. Like, he not gonna be able to go to these like little Make-A-Wish stuff and be disrespecting these kids. Like, they not going for that, bro. Because like they're like, and the reason AEW doesn't have to worry about that stuff because they're not publicly traded. Like, that's owned by Tony Khan and his family. WWE, they got people that like invested into this company. So if you do something that fuck them over, then that's gonna look bad on the company as a whole. So you gotta fall in line. So I am interested in like how MJF will be able to be in a WWE environment. Like, for real, man. Like, I don't know, man. It might not be as good as people think it might be, bro. He might go there and like I don't know. It might not be good, but I mean, I think that's the thing that remains to be seen. But also, I think that he's aware enough to know that it probably won't be good. So he's trying to just finesse his way into, you know, that big money deal with AEW. Which, but I don't like, for real, bro. I'm being completely. I don't think he's leaving, bro. If he leaves, I'll be very surprised. But I don't think he's going nowhere.
The only reason I think he might is his relationship with Cody. That's
true.
That's the kind of only thing because I agree with everything you just said. Like, it's one of the reasons that MJF is who he is and why he's so over is because he is a throwback heel who's never out of character, who shits all over the fans at meet and greets, and people go to meet him at these meet and greets
to get disrespected,
to get disrespected and film it. So yeah, it's a weird one. And I mean, I would have lost a bit of respect for him if he hadn't turned up last night. Not for not turning up and that sort of thing, because you do what you got to do. But I would have felt sorry for Wardlow, because that was like a 2-year story. That was his crowning moment. So to not, if MJF had not turned up and done the job, that was
petty.
Yeah, there's disrespecting Wardlow. It's nothing to do with his contract negotiations. Do your job and stuff. And he did. He didn't look happy, I got to say, when he came out. But again, he is so good at being him. You can't
even tell if that's him or like. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
He's a clever dude, isn't he? Let's talk about the main event a little bit. CM Punk versus Adam Page. CM Punk won. We discussed that we thought it was the right call, so I don't kind of want to retread over that. But the match was weird. So there was a couple of missed spots and botches, but also I thought the rest of the match was pretty good. So it was like a weird thing. Like, I see, you know what people are like in this day and age, they cling to the negatives. So people focus in on the botches, but they then don't focus in on the fact that, you know, the majority of the match was real good.
Are you talking about the buckshot lariats?
Yeah,
that Punk tried to do. Yeah, he clowned himself in the media scrum. He was like, "Y'all remind me to never try to do that shit again." but I mean, like I mean, like after the first one, like I would have thought that he would have like not tried to do it, but I'm thinking his mind, he was like, "Oh, let me try it again," type thing. And I was like, I don't think you need to do that no more, brother. Like, I mean, because when you think about it, but that's a hard ass move to like do. Like, you gotta flip yourself over and launch yourself full speed like that. That's rough, bro. So I mean, Hangman Page is a different athlete, obviously. So most people can't do shit like that. So I mean,
people giving Hangman more respect for doing it.
Yeah, for doing it
because he's able to pull it off all the time. But I felt sorry for CM Punk. Like
I did too, bro. I ain't gonna lie. So I was like, damn, Punk.
It was funny. It was funny. But what can you do?
but no, I think
fell on his ass the first time he fell on his ass. And do you know what? By the way, the first time he does it, he falls straight on his ass, and Hangman picks him up straight away and tries to put him into like a ghost
GTS.
Sleep. Yeah. That was real quick thinking by Hangman to cover it up, sort of thing.
Mm.
And then the second time, I'm just having another look at that. He does exactly the same again. He just falls straight on his ass.
He just I don't think he just had like the momentum, bro. Like,
yeah, he didn't flip over.
I mean, but also at that, I just think, hey, man, he probably strong as shit, but you're not strong. You probably got to be like the flip yourself and launch yourself while you're flipping. But like it's like you're doing like two different power moves at the same time. You got to flip yourself over, and then at the same time, you got to send yourself forward. To like go, like it's like you're already in running motion, like that's like it. I think what you said is very important. Like I hope people start to get Hangman some credit for pulling that move off. But like with Punk, his title reign, like me and you kind of, like you said, we kind of talked about it last week. It just like, bro, when are you ever gonna have a chance to do this again? You know what I'm saying? Like, so Punk, we like, I mean, I don't know when he's planning on finishing up wrestling, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you probably never gonna get a chance to have like at the right time, the right moment, the right crowd. Like it was just time going into Forbidden Door in Chicago. It's just the right time to put the title on Punk. And like you got time with Hangman, you got different stuff to go. But like Punk, I kind of view it as the same thing with Samoa Joe when he came into AEW, like, and he like said something during his media scrum, like, but just go to man with Punk, just do all the matches, bro. The Danielson, all the big dream matches, him versus Malachi Black. I want to see all that. Like, just go ahead and throw all that stuff at the wall. Big matches after big matches, and just get it all out the way, bro. Like, it's like, I mean, you might as well do it. Like, it ain't any point of like trying to save it with Punk. Like, just do it. Just do everything. Punk versus Suzuki, Punk versus whoever the fuck else you got. Line them all up. Do him versus Adam Cole. Line them all up, bro. Do the summer of Punk 3. It's time.
Yeah, man. And here's the thing, right? Is like CM Punk was gone for 7 years. Like Gaz just said in the chat there, he said, I never thought I'd see Punk again, so let's just enjoy it. And that's the thing. It got to a point in that 7-year period where it was like, yeah, this guy, he's just not coming back. So everyone kind of accepted that.
Yeah, they let it go.
So the fact he's back, I think, is just enjoy it for what it is. And like, I'm looking forward to, especially the like where you saw the hints of it recently. Like at some point he's going to go heel.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Wait.
That is going to be awesome.
That's the real CM Punk. Like that's the I can't wait. But
they're kissing babies at the moment. I want to see the real CM Punk be an asshole.
But a part of me, just a small part of me wishes Paul Heyman was a free agent, bro. Just a small part. Just a small part of me wishes Paul Heyman was a free agent.
They are good together.
Because that would just be like him, Heyman, and FTR. Oh my goodness, bro. That would just and then that forget you ask Serena Deeb. That'd be like that. Lord, I mean, that'd be. I mean, even now you could do Punk, Deeb, and FTR. That'd be nice. But like just fantasizing about if you add Heyman to the equation, oh my goodness, bro, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, they're so good together.
Yeah,
that run he had as a heel with Heyman was sensational.
It was great. Yeah, it was great.
Real good, like historic. Just will stand up over the years as one of the great runs, and I think it'll be interesting which direction they go with for the next challenger, because, like you said, and I think we talked about last week, I'd like to just see him fight everyone. Just
all the dream matches.
But they also will, I would imagine, they will want to be careful not to, damage anyone he beats during that period. So I'd be interested to see who they put him up against, certainly in the first month or two. I wouldn't be surprised to see him do an open challenge on Dynamite after maybe not this week, but from the week after, and just do some banger matches against random folks.
So you want to know who low key climbing up the ranks and nobody paying attention to? Like, I'm talking about the AEW rankings. Mox is number 3 right now.
See, that's weird, isn't it? Considering
Like,
they just put him in a tag team.
you know, like Mox has been racking up hella wins, bro, and like people don't even realize like Mox is like climbing up the ranks, and so I definitely think at some point they're gonna do CM Punk versus. Hey, bro, I ain't even gonna lie to you, I wouldn't be mad if Moxie got a second run. I really wouldn't. Like the work, but I've never seen a wrestler like consistently be this hot. Like, has there ever been a point where Moxley has like ever been cold in AEW?
Not really, no.
You know what I'm saying?
I think even maybe a little bit after his title run, I think he died down a little bit. But even then, he was pretty good. You know. Yeah. But I really like the Blackpool Combat Club as well. I like him with Bryan Danielson.
But I was like right after that, like right after he lost the title, it was like the Eddie Kingston thing started. So he wasn't even cold for that long.
No. It looks like we're going to get Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson as well. So maybe Mox versus Punk could be Punk's first feud, because if he's third in the rankings, he's going to be up there. You know, he's going to be in the conversation. If they're going to go with Daniel Bryanson, for fuck's sake, Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston, which it does look like they're building towards, then it kind of makes sense that Mox would go and do something. It's a bit weird though that they've kind of put Blackpool Combat Club together, and then they're gonna, you know, Utah's out doing the Best of the Super Juniors, and then they're gonna split off the other two. But I'll admit, I look forward to the day, hopefully in the next 12 months or the next 6 months, where we get to see CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson go hell for leather.
And I'm about to say, you would think they're gonna cycle back to CM Punk versus Kingston at some point. Like, that's happening.
Yeah. The promos mate for that will be insanity. Eddie Kingston is real hot. And every time you think he's dying down a little bit, he seems to get into another feud or does another promo and he's hot again. I really, really enjoying his work at the moment.
He should have beat Miro for the TNT title.
Yeah. Do you think they should have taken the titles off Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus?
See, the thing was, like initially
I was waiting for that Christian turn, and it didn't.
But initially, when they first announced them, I wasn't even expecting them to lose the title, so I wasn't like surprised at it. Do I think they should have lost the titles? I think the title should have went to Hobbs and Ricky. I do think Hobbs and Ricky should have won the titles, but like I wasn't like going into it expecting them to lose. I had a feeling they was going to win anyway, so I wasn't like caught off guard. But I do think that the title should have went to Ricky and Stark, because I mean Ricky and Hobbs, like I feel like they got like I feel like some like at some point you need to strap them up, or you need to sort of go further with Ricky or go further with Hobbs. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like they work real well together, and I feel like they can do a lot of good stuff. But like as far as like what's going on with Jurassic Express, like they have good matches. Like you can't say they don't have good matches, but like it's like I don't know. It just feels kind of like it's not boring, but like it's kind of like at some point I feel like you got to come to the point where you need to they just there. You need to switch it up a little bit. So honestly, like if that was me, I'd have definitely put the straps on Ricky and Powerhouse Hobbs. That'd have been cool to see them get the tag belts, and then maybe Hook could take on the reins of the FCW title a little bit once he splits off with Danhausen and like finishes that whole thing. I kind of like what they doing with Hook. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't going too super serious. Like you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Because like I feel like if you would have tried to like go the whole big mean guy with the straight face, they'd have got boring. But like I kind of like they adding like a comedic element of Danhausen there and stuff like that. They had a big miss yesterday, but not having Danhausen come out with the boxer shorts and the boots and the chain like Hook.
Yeah.
Big miss with that. But yeah, no, to your question, I definitely think that they could have put the titles on Ricky and Powerhouse Hobbs. But what I think is probably gonna happen, as far as the tag titles go, like maybe they try to cycle back the Lucha Brothers. Maybe they put the stripes on Buddy and Brody, and then Malachi sort of goes out of some singles gold, or but it's a lot of different ways they could go. But like, I mean,
now I think I got a feeling the Hardys are going to get the gold, get the tag team belts.
Oh God, no.
I just think they will, because so they can say that they've won it, and then AEW.
Yeah. But no, I'm not talking about no to your point. I'm just like, bro, I don't know, bro. Like that's why I love Matt and Jeff. Like that's one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Like I grew up in their era, like when they was, you know what I'm saying, when they was hot, like when they was the guys, and I grew up one of my favorite tag teams of all time, bro. But like, bro, like it be rough watching Jeff sometimes, bro. Like and that in a super negative way. But I'm talking about he looks like he legit hurts, like doing like basic shit, like when he getting in the ring, like moving around, like he looks like his body is hurting. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, I, of course, if he can go, then you know he can go. But like sometimes I just be looking at, I be like, damn, bro, like he look like he's like torn up.
So, as somebody who is in pain all the time, right, and someone who takes like super strong painkillers because of that pain, I can't imagine being in the amount of pain that I'm in all the time, and then having to do the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
But also not taking painkillers because he's obviously an addict and stuff, and has got clean and all that good stuff. Like, so that's taken out of the equation. Like, I can't imagine how he deals with that pain. And sometimes I watch him and when he does, so, like he did that spot with Darby Allin before, and even his first night on AEW when he did that spot at backstage where he jumped off a ladder through a table. Like, I get it. That's what he thinks people want to see from him. But like sometimes I just watching it and I'm just like, oh, like I can feel the pain and
you can see it in his face.
Yeah, man. And I don't know what you do, because like with the Hardys, it's difficult. They look slow and they look in pain. I quite liked Hardy with his stable of wrestlers, and he was effectively the manager. I thought that was pretty good because I thought it helped the Butcher and the Blade, and it helped
Private Party.
Yeah, I thought it helped them. I thought it helped Ali as well. All of them were better for being with Matt Hardy as their manager. He was doing the talking for them. They were doing the wrestling. That was good. But obviously, when Jeff came in, they didn't mesh. They couldn't do that together.
Yeah, you got to do the Hardy stuff. Like, you can't like not do it.
So the only thing I think they could do, which might interest me with the Hardys at the moment, and I'm like you, I grew up with them and
right.
They're my guys. Like, but I wouldn't be against them reforming the broken stable.
That would be good.
So having like his missus and Senior Benjamin, and like I could do with that because I think that is entertaining. And I'm talking like the original, broken, like the Impact broken, not the WWE one, the Impact one, which was genuinely entertaining. And what people forget with hindsight is it wasn't just entertaining. He was also the world champion, and he was also putting on great matches, but also having serious feuds whilst doing that gimmick. Like his feud with EC3 was phenomenal, but also there was comedic with Rockstar Spud and that element of the gimmick and stuff. But it was also very, very heated and very good. I think you can do something with that and Brother Nero, but that's like, I don't want to see the Hardy Boys as they are now versus, Jurassic Express, and I just don't. I thought, going back to Jurassic Express, I felt for sure that they were going to lose, and I thought Christian was going to turn on Jungle Boy, and that was going to be the feud. I don't know why. They've kind of hinted at it a little bit, but not really.
So you want to know the crazy thing? They haven't even hinted of it. That's us that's knowing that shit.
That's just in my head, is it?
No. It's not just you. It's everybody. We're doing this. AEW has not hinted at this at all. Like, they have not even remotely hinted that Christian was turning on this man. We want Christian to turn.
No, I think he was doing. He had to go at him, didn't he? Like he shouted at him or whatever. At some point.
He was just tired of him losing like singles matches. That he like need to get his shit together. But I think we want Christian to turn.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you something, because like this, I mean, it's kind of solo topic, but like, What do you think would have happened if Edge? Like, what do you think Edge would be doing right now if AEW if he would accepted the offer back in 2019? What do you think he'd have been doing right now? You think he'd have been champion?
Yeah, I think so. I think
because like especially like if AEW was getting off the ground at that point, dog, they definitely would have strapped Edge.
I think he would have been their first champion. I think. Depending on like the if the
timeline, yeah.
But I think there's certainly a chance that he would have. He's doing tremendous things. Actually, I'm really enjoying what he's doing.
The Judgment Day.
Yeah, I quite like it. You know me, I like those kind of dark gimmicks anyway. But like, I do think they need to add one more male wrestler to it, or maybe another female wrestler. I saw some people suggesting that Liv Morgan should join as well, and kind of they should have like the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley tag team reunite with this like darker gimmick. But
I don't know.
I mean, they do need female tag teams for this tournament, so there's one. Stop breaking them up. You might get, you might have one.
The thing about the Judgment Day, they were like, I feel like they need to stop doing like these generic ass in ring promos. Like, have some backstage, man. Like, I like what the House of Black does. Like, you don't see the House of Black like just standing in the ring, like with the light on them, like, hey, all you guys. Like, they do like the backstage vignettes. Yeah, that's great edited and stuff like that. Like, but do that stuff with the Judgment Day.
But that's what when the Wyatt family first debuted.
Yes,
that's what they did.
That's why they were so interested.
Over.
Yes, that's why
they barely did anything. And in fact, the only thing they did in the ring in the first 6 months was either matches or when they attacked someone. Everything else was like vignettes. So yeah, it's a weird thing. Coming out of Dynamite, so coming into Dynamite on Wednesday, anything which you're particularly sort of looking forward to and kind of like interested in where it's going to go?
I think it's only 2 matches. We got Scorpio versus Dante for the TNT title.
Any chance that Dante wins, do you think?
There ain't no fucking way. They ain't taking that belt off Scorpio. But you know what? But Dante, like, for real, like, I know Darius hurt right now. But dog, like, I don't think he should win the TNT title. But like, dog, he had so much momentum like before Darius came back. And like, I do really like Top Flight's tag team. I think they gonna one day be tag champions in AEW. But for right now, like with the situation you got, though, like it ain't gonna hurt you to push Dante like back to that position he was. Like he had a lot of momentum, dog. Like he had a lot. And then with Scorpio, I feel like you need to keep giving him wins. Like keep building them up, building them up and stuff like that. Just keep giving him like give him like some feuds that people like give a shit about. Like the Frank Kazarian one was it was decent, but like put him in there with like some big names, bro. Like give him some give him something to work with. Do something like so that can bring him like a really, really great match. Like throw his ass in there with like Lethal or some shit like that and have him be Lethal. You know what I'm saying? Do something like that. But like but whatever they got coming up next. But I really like the Scorpio heel run, like minus the Sammy Guevara stuff. Like I mean, all of it's been the Sammy Guevara stuff. But like I think that Scorpio has like a lot of depth to him, and I think that they definitely have long-term plans for Scorpio. Because I mean, I don't think they would have signed him to a 5-year extension if they didn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't think AEW is out here handing out 5-year fucking extensions.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
They're letting people go, and so
Yeah, so I definitely think that they got plans for Scorpio, but I know they got the 10-man tag coming up. It's gonna be Undisputed Elite and it's Undisputed Elite versus the Hardys. Who else? It's gonna be Undisputed Elite versus the Hardys and is it Blackpool Combat Club? Is that what
I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So that's good. That's in isn't that in the Bucks' hometown?
Yes, Cali,
California.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a good one. Do you know who I think is fucking awesome, and I really hope they do something special with is Swerve. Like he is him. I like him and Keith Lee actually together.
Yeah, I do too.
Swerve is just so good, mate. So good.
Him and Keith Lee.
Yeah, man. I think they wouldn't have been a bad shout for tag team champions. Actually, I wouldn't have been disappointed with that.
So, yeah, they'd have been good too. Only reason I choose Hobbs and Starks over them is because they like the more like established team.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So like that's why I kind of side with them. And I feel like I always look at Swerve and Keith Lee as like individual talents. But like for real, I ain't mad at this tag run. Like it's good. But like I of course everybody want to see them do their own stuff. But like they not a bad team, bro. They do like some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like I think it's just a matter of like fleshing it out a little bit. Like because the roster is like fucking ever growing. You know what I'm saying? Like you expecting the somebody else to turn up like fucking Gargano or somebody is gonna turn up in that men's division. There's gonna be another place. You know what I'm saying? And then you got MJF somewhere in there in the weeds. You know what I'm saying? It's they got a stacked roster, but I mean, it's never. I don't think it's ever a bad thing to have a stacked roster, but there are also complications that come with a stacked roster, like you having to do stuff like that to keep guys on TV. But I will give Tony Khan some credit, like as far as like putting tag teams together. He's like really good at that stuff, like putting these people together and like making them work. So, yeah.
But you know what else as well helps is the fact that you've got a whole brand which is about to at some point start a TV deal. So if anyone in that roster is getting a bit frustrated with their TV time, you can kind of say, just bear with me. You know, as soon as this Ring of Honor things is announced, you're going to be one of my guys. And there's so many guys and girls in that roster that maybe aren't getting the push now, but could be real good guys in Ring of Honor, like top guys. And I just think that is such a benefit to them as a company overall. So it's going to be very interesting, sort of where they go next. Do you know, on the female side of things, who I'm really excited to see later this year, I'm hoping they'll have a feud with Britt Baker, is Jamie Hayter. I really like, and I think there's potentially a great feud between her and Britt at some point.
They put her in Blackpool Combat Club.
Do you think? Yeah,
Jamie Hayter. They should.
Yeah, good shot.
She's a great wrestler. Yeah,
she is, and I think moving her from Britt quietly now, so Britt can have a little bit of a face run for, even if it's a short one, it's quite a good idea. But without addressing it, and then in a couple of months, maybe you have a kind of as Jamie Hayter can then say, "Oh, you just kind of abandoned me," and then it can kind of go. You can start with that then, and there could be a real good feud there. Just to wrap up, mate, have you heard any more on the kind of the Sasha and Naomi stuff? And is there any further news?
I think everything just at a standstill right now. I don't think they're coming back. They're coming back.
I read somewhere that Naomi's only got like a month on a contract, haven't she?
I mean, that's true.
I don't know if that's true, but
yeah. I mean, everything just at a standstill right now. I don't think we really gonna find out shit till like the end of the summer, to be honest with you.
It's a weird thing.
So what's it? Stephanie McMahon took her leave of absence, which was interesting.
Say again, sorry?
Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, that was wild. I saw a few people saying that they don't expect her back as well, but like I can't imagine that she's done. She's done being an executive at the WWE. I'd be amazed if that was the case.
Nick Khan taking over.
Yeah, just for sure, mate. However, I will say, if she isn't there, I think that creates more chance, theoretically, of Vince selling the WWE at some point. Because if she's not a top executive there, and neither is Paul Levesque, and neither is Shane McMahon, like this, their what's the word? Like their inheritance, if you like, is do you know what I mean? It's like a family company. If they're not there, I think it's easier for Vince to sell to Disney or whoever. So I'm kind of interested in that, like massively, to see how that develops. But Nick Khan is just getting rid of everybody, just firing wrestlers, executives, doesn't matter, doesn't care. He's gonna kick Vince out soon. Don't give a shit.
I say I don't even know what Nick Khan. I mean, I don't know what he does exactly. But like I don't know if he like firing people and shit like that. But like I think it's evident that he's moving up the ranks real quick. Yeah. He got a lot of power. So Yeah, man. Hey, Nick Khan might fuck around and give Vince ass the boot. One of these, he might convince him to get him to kick himself out or something like that.
Be the one to say you passed it.
You want to know what? I got a prediction. That's somewhat reasonable. That's not like all out of bounds and shit like that. I think that after that documentary come out about Vince, I think he's gonna hang it up. After this documentary drop, that one that they doing about him, the Ringer. I think once that drop, once it come out, I think he's gonna hang it up. He gonna hand it over to whoever. I don't know who, but I think he gonna hand it over, and I think that'll be his lasting legacy. That documentary, and then boom. Of course, the WWE is old. But also, I can see him like just being like continuing in the same spot. Like I'm just trying to spitball an idea.
Yeah, no, I could see it. I could definitely see it. I think, if you'd said that 5 years ago, I'd have said 100% Triple H will take over the wrestling side, Stephanie will take over the business side, and the fact that that isn't the case now is mind blowing in many ways. Obviously, Triple H, from an in-ring perspective, is done. I don't know what his health's like, so I don't know whether he'd be, able to run a company that size and things like that. But it's a weird way. I was all planned out. Nick Khan's going to take over it all.
Those old NXT days seem like a lifetime ago.
Oh,
NXT, when NXT was on fire with Aleister Black and all those guys, those days.
So good, good. And you see like a new top indie star would turn up each takeover. Oh, it was so good, man.
Hey, let me ask you something before we wrap up. Are you even remotely interested in Ric Flair's last match?
Could not give a fuck, mate. I could not give less of a shit.
Yeah, FTR's in the match.
Are they?
Yeah, it's gonna be the official like match hasn't been confirmed as far as like who's facing who, but Ric Flair did confirm that it's gonna be him, Rock and Roll Express, and FTR, and they waiting on the last guy.
Yeah, mate, I just don't, not interested at all. Which is a shame.
He gonna do what he do, bro. But like, dog, like
yeah. Oh, look, he can do what he wants, but it doesn't mean I have to watch it.
Yeah, he's 75, bro, and like you got like a pacemaker in your heart. I don't know, bro. But mate, I mean,
he's 75. He's got a pacemaker. Obviously, has had health issues, big health scares before. Obviously, had a history of alcohol and drug abuse. But he's got a daughter who's just got married. Potentially may have grandchildren, children, whatever. He's obviously got other children as well. Like, at what point do you just think, fucking hell, like, I'm done with wrestling. I just want to enjoy my family, my children, my grandchildren, and like I'm 75. I just don't understand it.
Wrestlers are never done, ever. They never retire. There's no such thing as retirement in pro wrestling, ever.
It doesn't. I can't relate to it, and I'm not a wrestler, so I can't obviously. But
it's the bug. It's the bug. Once you get caught, you caught. That's it. You locked in ever. But like I mean, hopefully, you know what I'm saying. It's like. But he was doing an interview talking about he trying to go off the top rope and shit. I'm like, oh, like
please don't.
But
just do a couple of
chops.
Like, do some chops. Do your strut and get out of there. Let's just make sure you get out alive is the main thing, unfortunately, isn't it? Do you know what, mate? One thing I wanted to touch on. No Cesaro, no Johnny Gargano. I think Cesaro is going to turn back up in WWE.
I do too.
Because I think if he was going to be in AEW or Ring of Honor or whatever, he would have turned up on it.
Man, I think Cesaro looking for the big bucks. That's what he's looking for. He looking for them hundreds. That's what he's looking for. So he looking for them. He's looking for that money.
He's looking for that retirement money.
If you ain't forking it over, he ain't with it.
Yeah, why not? What about Johnny Gargano? Do you think he'll be back soon?
I think Johnny Gargano's first match gonna be in GCW against Blake Christian.
Do you think he ends up in AEW?
Probably.
Maybe an ROH guy. Could be like a top guy in ROH. Could see that.
I can see him in either. But yeah, I think his first match back out here gonna be against Blake Christian. Blake Christian been calling his ass out for like 5 months, and I don't think he's doing that like not on purpose.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, mate. Fair to say. So yeah, Raw tonight. Yeah, it's gonna be good. What's Randy Orton's on hiatus? Riddle is having a real good run at the moment. I've got to say, I think that everyone is expecting when Randy Orton returns that he's going to turn on Riddle. I think Riddle is going to turn on Randy Orton the first night he's back. Just throwing that out there. And I think he's got a good heel run in him as well, Riddle, for the WWE. I think they've built him well. He's done well. He's good in ring. Depending on how they book him, they might have a new heel on their hands. What says you?
You about to have a new heel in your hands in a minute.
You know it. Come on. You know he'll be a good heel. And everyone's expecting Orton to turn. I just think that'll be I think he will turn rather than Orton. And that'll be the swerve, as it were. Right, my friend. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. I do enjoy our chats about the graps. If you're around next Monday, mate, do give me a shout, and we'll get it done.
We'll do, sir.
It's a good time for me and works for you. Then let's do it. Obviously, there's lots
let everybody know on the air that you skimming me on the checks.
Yeah, man, They're bouncing like Paul Heyman in the 90s ECW. Bouncing all over this place. Make sure you do check out ProWrestling.com, PostWrestling.com, and also Andrew Thompson interviews on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Watch some of the best wrestling interviews in the game by the GOAT himself. We'll be back soon, hopefully next week. But keep an eye on the social medias and stuff. Give us a follow, share, all that good stuff. And we'll see you later. It's been a pleasure. Nice one, Andrew. Cheers, mate.